Is it really your angels you're hearing, or are you just making it up? If you've ever asked yourself this question and not been sure how to tell the difference, this video is for you, so stay tuned. I'm going to explain to you how to make that distinction between the messages of your angels and your own mind. Hi, my name is Melissa. Welcome if you're a returning subscriber, and hi if you're new here as well. I do invite you to subscribe to this channel. I share weekly videos on really practical tips to communicate with your angels, to find your unique life purpose, and to develop your intuitive abilities. So hit that subscribe button and like this video if it resonates with you. So today we're talking about how to make that distinction between your own mind and the messages of your angels. I know it's a really common concern for so many of you. So first we need to take a step back and look at the real you. Okay, you are a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. You are energy. You have two distinct parts to your nature while you're here on planet Earth. You have your intellect, which is the logical, analyzing, dissecting, thinking mind, and you have your feeling nature, which really encompasses your intuition, your hunches, your impressions, your ideas, your creativity, your desires, your feelings. Okay? So we have both of those, and ideally we have those two parts in balance as much as possible. If you lean too far one way or too far the other way, you're going to have difficulties because you're out of balance. Now, predominantly, our society encourages us to be on the intellectual side of things. Our society is also predominantly in the masculine energy. And so we are finding balance at this time in history by coming back to the feminine, not to make feminine more important, but just to find the balance. And the feminine is actually more aligned with the feelings. So when you're balanced, your energy will move as feel, think, act. Get an impression, organize it, take action on it. And there's a continual flow of energy that starts to happen with this feel, think, act. So when you're receiving messages from your angels, the confusion that people have is that they can't tell the difference between the mind, the words, the thoughts, and what's coming from spirit. So just by having this understanding, what we're really making a distinction between is the thoughts that are coming from the intellect and the impressions that are coming through feelings. And why it gets confusing sometimes is because some of our impressions do come in as words. That's one of the four avenues. Might be more hearing, either words or music, even sound. We can also get impressions as visions and pictures. We can also get impressions as an inner knowing or a gut sense, and we can also get impressions as feelings. So also keep in mind that the more verbal hearing communication is just one of the four psychic avenues through which you will be receiving communication from your angels. And actually one of those four is your primary gift. And so you can learn which of those four is your primary gift through a consultation that I offer through the Way Showers College. And that's really helpful. The people that have the most challenge with this are the people that have the first gift of intuition or clairaudience, because they are actually perceiving their angel's energy as a thought, as words. And so then it becomes, well, how do I tell what words are mine and what words are my guidance? Okay? So just keep in mind too, it's really only this one of the four psychic avenues, and pay attention to ways you might be receiving messages in other ways, not just words. Okay, but coming back to this, like, how do you tell the difference between your thoughts and word impressions that are coming from spirit? So one way to tell is that when you're getting messages from your guidance, it will just seem like it just pops in out of nowhere. It didn't require any effort to think of it. It just is there. You perceive it, okay? I even sometimes hear myself laughing out loud at a message that came from my guides because it just pops in. Or it's like having a little conversation there. It's also in the way that the message feels, okay? So when you're perceiving energy from your angels or communication from your angels, it will feel light, fun, free, even humorous, even ecstatic. at times, versus your thoughts might be more heavy, might be more measured, more, I don't know if it's always heavy as such, but it's definitely a different tone to it, okay? It definitely requires more effort to think, whereas there's no effort at all when it's coming from your angels, it just pops in. Now you might start analyzing that and think it was you, but it actually wasn't. Another thing to keep in mind is that the communication from your angels will be very subtle. It's quiet. It's like the still, small voice inside. It will not be loud or shouty 99% of the time. So it's just the small, still voice that comes along with a feeling of perhaps clarity or an aha moment, etc. The other thing that I've noticed in many years of experience working with my angels is that the messages are not lengthy when they come through words. It could just be a phrase. It could just be 2 words that you hear. And sometimes I hear that multiple times because it's like a very simple message that my angels want to reiterate to me. So an example of this was over a year ago now, when I separated from my spouse and moved into my own apartment. I was getting used to a new schedule. You know, I have shared custody with my son now. I wasn't used to not seeing him for long periods of time. And yet I also was then embracing, wow, when I'm not with my son, I have more time to do activities and to see friends that I just didn't have before when I had a small child all the time, right? So I was experiencing that, getting used to the transition. And I heard from my angels a few times these words: it's the best of both worlds. It's the best of both worlds, right? That was a message that I probably heard quite a few times over a period of about 3 or 4 weeks, where that was the message that my angels had for me. So this is another reminder too that your angels are here to kind of help you learn and grow. And you might not get a message in one day. Okay, now I've grown in that area, move on to the next spiritual growth lesson. It can take some time. So there may be times when you hear a particular message a few times over a certain period of time. They're just reminding you of what advice they have for you. And it's never pressured. The message from your angels is never telling you what to do. It's never forced. It's never loud. It's never like you'll be in trouble if you don't do this. If you're getting any of that kind of communication, you want to practice the spiritual cleansing technique and relax and tune into something that's much more positive, okay? Because your angels will never tell you what to do. They're just giving you suggestions, but not commands, okay? So I hope that helps you to make a little bit more of a distinction. It definitely also takes practice, working with this and learning tools so that you can trust in that communication more. And for many of you, that's going to be the key. It's one thing to start getting messages, which is great. And the next step is to really trust in that and interpret it and use those messages in a practical way in your life. So I do encourage you again to learn that spiritual cleansing technique. I've posted a link right here where you can go download that video. And this is a tool that you can practice daily to be more relaxed, more connected with your angels so that their messages are closer to you and more distinct. And the next video that I suggest you watch is called Avoid This Mistake When Communicating with Your Angels. Okay, so that will be something that will help you to be successful and avoid making one of the key mistakes I see people make when they try to ask their angels questions. So hop over to that one next and I'll see you on over there.